Hello, and welcome to the presentation. Today I'll be discussing The Blue Zones, Secrets for Living Longer by Dan Buettner. This book's MSRP is $32 US and was published May 2nd, 2023. This is Buettner's 8th book on the topic. This book was released alongside a Netflix documentary series of the same name. They are both designed to inform about the Blue Zones, areas of the world where people live the longest on Earth. The aim of this book is how to utilize the practices of these cultures in order to expand one's lifespan. The book characterizes 5 areas as blue zones, as shown in the map. The book is split into 2 parts. The first part is about Buettner's experience in the blue zones, including conclusions on why each lives so long. The second part of the book contains information about how to apply lessons learned to your own life. The first area that Buettner writes about is Sardinia, Italy, the first labeled blue zone. Some of the main attributes that Buettner argues adds to their longevity is their diet of whole grains and vegetables, family value and idolization of elders, active community, and strong cultural kinship. Next, Buettner writes on his experience in Nicoya, Costa Rica, where he notes cultural emphasis on hard work, but also time to rest, strong social network, a strong sense of purpose, and local diet. Here Buettner spends much time talking about a 100-year-old cowboy who he attributes as the most youthful centenarian he has ever met. In Loma Linda, California, Buettner argues that this Adventist community's longevity comes from their religious values, which evangelize health, a plant-based diet, community exercise, days of rest, and strong social connection. This is also the only blue zone located in the United States. Ikaria, Greece, where people forget to die, is characterized by laughter, friendship, local wine, family, and friendship. Buettner argues that Ikaria, Greece, being on an isolated island with harsh terrain, has created cultural conditions of independence and perseverance. Buettner also tells a story of a man who overcame cancer on the island with no medical treatment. The final blue zone that Buettner writes about is Okinawa, Japan. Buettner attributes their longevity to their strong sense of purposeful material production, plant and soy-based diet, secure and lifelong social networks, and natural movement like gardening. In the past decade, though, Buettner feels as if this will be the first blue zone to fade. The writing culminates in Buettner's second section, where he describes how to take these lessons and apply them to your life. Buettner argues that there are 9 main cultural attributes that can be adopted from these communities to help you live longer. He even talks about how he has transformed a rural Minnesota town with these attributes that has since seen increased lifespans. These 9 attributes that Buettner argues are essential are moving naturally, finding purpose, taking rest, eating moderately, eating plant-based diet, moderate wine consumption, finding belonging, putting loved ones first, and finding the right tribe. Surprisingly, there isn't a lot of other popular literature on this topic, besides the work of Dan Buettner. He has written 8 books on this topic across the last 15 years, and his name has become synonymous with the blue zones. This makes his work significant because it's really one of the only ways in which people are learning about these communities. There are other formats that people have explored this topic, though. The YouTube channel Yes Theory has been to most of the blue zones and documented their experiences. Their conclusions on these communities are very similar to Buettner's. Others have also visited these places and blogged their experiences, but not to large audiences. This book is certainly aimed at a general audience, or someone interested in self-help or healthy living. I do not think that this book would work well in a scholarly setting, as most of Buettner's conclusions aren't necessarily based on fact. For someone with a general interest in this topic, though, the book is certainly adequate in covering information that most people would want to know. Though this topic is right in the intersection of biology and culture, and has strong anthropological ties, I think that this book would not be relevant in a low-level anthropology classroom, because while it does certainly connect to anthropological concepts, it is not stated in the book, and you do need an understanding of theory to make those conclusions yourself. The methodology used by Buettner is akin to ethnography, but he's not a trained anthropologist, and nor does he claim what he's doing is anthropology. Most of Buettner's conclusions come from participant observation, but he does reference evolutionary anthropologists, medical workers, and health surveys, though not in depth. My main critique of this book is related to my previous point. After reading and watching Buettner's work, it is clear he is not an anthropologist, and though he has years of experience with these communities, his observations and conclusions are pretty surface level, which I believe an anthropologist could correct. I would have enjoyed it if he'd collaborated more with anthropologists. My other main issue with this book and Buettner is that a lot of this research seemed aimed at monetization and not academic research. I'm skeptical if the goal of this book is to inform the reader or to sell them on the Blue Zone culture. According to Buettner, this book and his Netflix series are in celebration of 10 years of study. I'm not sure how much of this book was old information repackaged. Despite these factors, I did find the book to be very enjoyable and informative for the most part. It includes images in collaboration with National Geographic that really enrich his data. Even if Buettner is trying to sell this culture, I believe that his 9 proposed life changes would be beneficial to most people if employed. Overall, I would recommend this book to someone that is studying Blue Zones, but with the qualification that if they were reading with an anthropological lens, to be prepared to make those connections yourself. I think the person that would enjoy this book the most would be a non-academic, who is simply interested in the topic and exploring the cultures of the Blue Zones on a surface level. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope that you gained an adequate understanding of the book, as well as its strengths and weaknesses in the academic setting. Blue Zones are fascinating places that clearly have lessons to offer. My hope is that they will become more popular in anthropology and become hosts to more academic research.